What is going on, guys? Very sorry for the delay yesterday. I was all over the place. Like I was able to watch the game on my phone, but I didn't even get to the house till like late at night because we ended up watching UFC at the same night. So this is why I'm doing my live in the afternoon. But what's going on, guys? Welcome to another weekend edition of Full 7 Rangers. It is your host Raymond Tapia. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and a comment. Turn on your notifications. I'm about to go live, do a highlight, or post a community post, things like that. Well, guys, as y'all know, the Dallas Stars basically just shutted out the New York Rangers yesterday. I mean, the only thing I will actually give the Rangers credit for is the fact that their defense was able to keep them not scoring all the way until the third period. So I will at least give them that. Other than that, I mean, the Rangers provided a whole bunch of nothing burgers. I mean, there's I don't know what can we even talk about that happened yesterday because a whole lot of nothing happened yesterday. So I mean, the only thing that happened was Alexa Lafreniere took a big hit and JT Miller actually stepped up as a captain and fought Jamie Benn. So I will give credit for JT Miller. At least he acted like a fucking captain yesterday in that moment. So it's good to see that at least your captain is willing to step up and fight people if they feel like they don't like what they're doing with their teammates. So I'll give credit where credit is due. But other than that, I mean, the game was. I'm not gonna hold you guys. The game was definitely a snooze fest. Like, no disrespect to the Stars. I know they're a good team, but the pace was just very slow and nobody wasn't able to like put a freaking shot in the net until like the third period. And then the Dallas Stars like they were able to get only one goal on the 5v5, and then the second goal came from like when Igor Shesterkin got pulled out off the net. Now I get it, like the Rangers always like they're known for beating the Stars at the most clutchest time and the weirdest like time as well, but it just wasn't it wasn't the Rangers day yesterday, man. It simply wasn't like they they tried. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say that they didn't try. They actually did, but like I said, the shots just weren't on their side yesterday. They weren't able to put it into the net. That was all it was. But other than that, the forechecking wasn't too bad. The physicality wasn't as well. They actually were winning face-offs. I mean, I truly don't understand it. Like, they can win the face-offs. They're a physical team, but they can never put the puck into the goal. That's what I feel like they're gonna need to work on this offseason. Like, they need to start making a lot more people's shot get more accurate and start like figuring out a system to where people can have opportunities to start shooting the puck into the net. I mean, we don't play for them, so we're just observing and watching. We're the audience. So you know what I mean. Uh, but other than that, I mean, the Rangers are gonna be all right next season. But the crazy part was the Dallas Stars. The only now see had the penalty not been drawn, the Dallas Stars would have never had a goal because the one and only goal that they scored on in the regulation was the power play goal. Other than that, if the power play goal had not been scored, it would have been all the way to a shootout. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, it would have been a scoreless three periods, a scoreless overtime, and then it would have ended up into a shootout because the goaltending were definitely it was definitely a goaltending game. Oettinger was on top of his shit, and Igor, even though he did allow one goal, he was also like he was saving the shit out of the Rangers, man. He was practically trying to steal the game for them. But other than that, I mean, the Rangers only had 22 shots. Dallas Stars somehow like were out three, but they still won the game anyway. The Rangers had 22 hits. The Dallas Stars had 14. For your face-off wins, the Rangers had 25. The Dallas Stars had 21. For the power play opportunities, surprisingly, the Rangers had five power play opportunities and they didn't get not one power play goal out of that. So that's crazy to see. Which we're gonna talk about the hires of the whole developmental staff that the Rangers had going on because if you guys weren't aware, like Chris Jury did I guess managed to let go some of the guys that were part of the developmental staff and added in some new faces. So I guess we'll talk about that in a few. But yeah, the Rangers had 5 power play opportunities, guys. 5 of them, and they couldn't get not one goal out of it. So it's not like they didn't have, no, they had plenty of chances. They just couldn't execute. Bottom line, they could not execute. And that's why the Rangers lost. Plain and simple. They played good defense. They were forechecking and things like that, but a lot of the times, like what really screwed them up was the amount of penalties they kept drawing. Like if they had not drawn penalties, they probably would have, like I said, they would have probably gotten a chance to steal this game. But the Rangers had 19 block shots. No, the Stars had 19 block shots. The Rangers had 9. The penalty minutes, the Rangers had 15. The Dallas Stars had 17. For your takeaways, the Dallas Stars had 3. Rangers had 6. The giveaways, the Dallas Stars had 14. Rangers had 13. So, like I said, a whole bunch of nothing happened yesterday, and the goal scoring pretty much did, like I said, didn't happen till the third period. So, there's not much to talk about other than Jason Robertson scoring 2 goals. That's literally all that happened. That was it. Jason Robertson had a power play goal, and then Jason Robertson was at it again when they pulled Igor out of the bench and had an extra attacker in the third period. Other than that, I got nothing else to give you guys. That's why this is gonna be a brief live because a whole bunch of not too much happened. So I don't know what you guys like want me to talk about when I already like pretty much talked about the whole game right there to there. But we'll see. Like I don't know, man. The Rangers did, like I said, they did good defensively. Just wish that converted into executing a goal on the offensive end. Now, when they play the Panthers tomorrow, I feel like they'll have more of a chance of probably beating them over Tampa because Tampa is a way better team than Florida. I mean, come on, guys, they're in the fucking playoffs and the Panthers are, which is like absurd that a back-to-back Stanley Cup championship team is not even going to see the playoffs this year. But I really do feel like some of these teams have been intentionally tanking to gain a freaking top pick because right now Toronto is in a spot where if like they somehow keep losing the remainder of these games, they get their top 5. They still get to keep their top 5 pick, and then I guess like the Bruins are in a situation where if they do go on a deep run, they get to go. They keep the draft pick due to that first rounder being from the Brandon Carlo trade. So yeah, the Maple Leafs they got such a mind fuck going on, and the Red Wings for like the 30,000th time, they're not seeing the playoffs. Once again, like I told you guys, they missed the playoffs by 1 point. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know how Steve Yzerman still has his job. I truly don't know how Yzerman has his job because if I'm the Detroit Red Wings team owner, which I know Michael Ilitch isn't the owner, God bless his soul, because I personally met Michael Ilitch when I worked at Little fucking Caesars in 2008. Believe it or not, yes, working in a Little Caesars in Orlando, fucking Florida. You would have never thought that one day my ass at 18 years old ran into Michael Ilitch because he happened to go into that store that one time because he was like checking up on the numbers and pretty much going around the whole country checking on his stores. But he happened to be there one day, and he was actually the owner of the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers. So yeah, all those championships that Detroit had won a while, in the early 2000s and the 90s. Yeah, I met the guy that was actually a part of that, and I can tell you for free, if Michael Ilitch was still alive and still owning his team, you would not see any of this. You can ask any diehard Red Wings fan about Michael Ilitch. Hell, he even owned the Detroit Tigers. So he was the founder of Little Caesars, owned the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers. Now, this man actually, despite him being a founder of a pizza company, he still managed to find a way to turn both of his Detroit sports teams into good teams. So if Michael Ilitch had been a part of what's going on right now with the Red Wings, oh guys, you would have seen the whole front office gone. The whole front office. There's no there's no way Michael Ilitch would have put up with that. This is the same guy that gave Detroit the Magic Man. Like I was talking to a guy that that had the Magic Man on his team. You know what I'm saying? So God bless Michael Ilitch. So he was such a chill guy. I still will never forget that day where he was there and we just started talking about Red Wings hockey and talked about guys like Chris Chelios and the Magic Man and all the other guys from back in the 90s and early 2000s. Like it was so cool to know that I was like I'm 18, you know, I don't know any fucking better. I'm just starting life, but it was cool to know that like I met the owner of the Detroit Red Wings simply working for Little Caesars. And the craziest part was, I still remember that conversation till this fucking day, where it was actually in 2008. This was before they got to the even playoffs. Like, this was in, like, March or February of 2008. And I remember talking to him and telling him, hey, man, I believe in your team. I think they're going to actually win, like, the Stanley Cup. Magic Man's too good, and his the depth they have right now, they actually might do. And then, boom, they win the Stanley Cup in 2008. Like that was so crazy that I had that conversation with him, and like you know it was like predicted that this team's gonna win you a cup in 2008 because like we talked about how stacked the team was, how good they were offensively, defensively, the goaltending, things like that. So that's how small this world gets, guys. So that's why the Detroit Red Wings kind of have like a soft spot for me because when I was a kid, I went to Michigan and ran into like met people that actually like were diehard Red Wing fans as a kid growing up. Used to randomly go to Michigan like sometimes with my mom and go meet my auntie over there because she happened to like live over there. But that is how the Red Wings became like my second NHL team. Which I know people were like, you can't be doing that. You need to stick with one team and that's it. I'm not necessarily going to say like, oh, I'm a Red Wings and a Rangers fan. The Red Wings are just the team I have a soft spot for. That's all it is. It's like Jesse Blake and how he is a diehard Maple Leafs fan, right? But believe it or not, he has a soft spot for this team right here particularly. He is like the New York Rangers happen to be Jesse Blake's second favorite NHL team. How do I know this? Because he's actually done content about the New York Rangers and things like that. So even though you see him on Steve Daniels' podcast, believe it or not, he secretly loves the New York Rangers. He just doesn't like telling that to Steve Dangle and Adam Wild because you know those guys always talk crazy about the team. But other than that, it does suck to see the Red Wings not make the playoffs. I mean, I feel for the fans. I feel for the fans. You guys are not even expecting a championship. You just want to see them get there. You just want to have something to cheer about. So I totally fucking get it. I 100% do. And I don't blame no one. Absolutely no one. Feeling like Steve Eiserman needs to get the hell out of there because he 100% does. Now, the only teams that are left in the fight for the playoff pick for the wild card spot, ironically, is the Blue Jackets, the Flyers, the Capitals, and the Isles. But let's be real. I mean, even with the Isles having 91 points, Washington and Columbus are going to have way more of a hunger. And plus, the Philadelphia Flyers are ahead of the Isles by 3 points. They're ahead of the Capitals and the Flyers by 3 points. So if anybody has a chance to actually like creep and give themselves a good fight, it's Columbus. The Columbus Blue Jackets, I mean, they definitely want it, especially with everything they've had happen to them. If anybody deserves that spot, it's got to be the Blue Jackets, man, because I feel for that team as well. They had to deal with Johnny Gaudreau being gone, and, like, they pretty much had to go from there, and So hopefully, if they make the playoffs, I will be actually happy for the Blue Jackets because it kind of feels like they did that for Johnny Gaudreau and the Columbus Blue Jackets fan base. They definitely need that. It'd be a really good story that the Blue Jackets made it to the playoffs after like pretty much 2 years from the unfortunate demise of Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, it still sucks to this day that Johnny Gaudreau's gone. Like, it still feels weird that he's no longer on this earth. And I used to watch him play in Calgary and Columbus, so it is wild. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, for the first time in a long time, are going to be seeing the playoffs. So guys are going to get to see Sidney Crosby once again get into the playoffs. There's no telling when he's going to retire. Honestly, like no fucking telling when this guy's going to actually like retire and hang it up. Ovechkin as well. I mean, everybody sit here saying like, "Oh, he said he's gonna hang it up." There's no telling with him as well, man. There truly is. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, Kopitar had a pretty good speech as well with his fans with the LA Kings the other night for this final home game. So they're a very, very appreciative and thankful, speech to his fans and things like that. So good luck on your retirement, Anze Kopitar. You definitely had a good run with the Kings. I mean, I wish we had a player like him in the Rangers. We probably would have had 2 cups like he did with the when he had Jonathan Quick playing for LA. But the West is also in an interesting situation as well because right now the San Jose Sharks, the LA Kings, the Nashville Predators, and the Winnipeg Jets are pretty much all fighting for the spot. But if you ask me, the team that's most likely ahead of them in that fight, it's got to be Nashville because they have 86 points, and Winnipeg and San Jose only has 82. So for them to even like have a chance to surpass the Preds, like the Predators have to lose the rest of the games, and then the San Jose Sharks got to gain like freaking gain a lot more points. Like they're gonna have to gain 4 more points or 6 more points within these last couple of games, and somehow that bumps them right up into the freaking final spot. But Utah already like clinched their wild card spot, so yes, you're gonna see the Utah Mammoth for the first time since their franchise has been established going to the playoffs. So that's gonna be it's good for the Utah fans, especially out there in Salt Lake City. Like I know the Jazz ain't been the best or basketball wise, but at least they got something to watch now, other than Utah Jazz basketball. But the way it's looking, I definitely could see. I mean, the Kings they gotta just keep. If they want to clinch their wild card spot, they have to win pretty much the remainder of these games because if they lose any more games and the Predators start winning their games, you're going to see the Nashville Predators go into the playoffs after 2 years. So, and Steven Stamkos, he's been absolutely good. Like this man went from last season to when people saw him play, they were like, "What the fuck were the Predators thinking?" To now this year, he has 40 goals. So it's like maybe the Predators were on to something getting Steven Stamkos here. I mean, 40 goals, it's not bad. It's not bad compared to what he did last year. Oh man, he definitely Steven Stamkos turned it the fuck around. I mean, if you ask me, if it wasn't for how he was playing this season, I truly think the Predators would have not even been a playoff team. I mean, say what you want about Steven Stamkos and him just being a power play guy. The man turned that shit the fuck around. Steven Stamkos turned it the hell around. Like, you can't argue with what he's been doing this season. Winnipeg, honestly, they had no business even being in the wild card spot too because that team was supposed to be good. The team was supposed to be good, so I don't know what happened there with Winnipeg as well. San Jose, the fans are just glad that they're in the mix because everybody thought that they're nothing but a rebuild team and they're going to take a while to get better, but the progress is getting a lot more faster than expected. It's not being rushed, but it's definitely like the process is already like beginning and it's here. So Maga Celebrini can definitely like somehow shock the world and bring the Sharks into the mix. But that's if the Predators and the Jets keep losing games. That's the only way you're gonna see San Jose even make the wild card and shock the world. Winnipeg, LA, and Nashville, all 3 teams have to be like on a losing streak for the remainder of the season which like I think there's only like 2 or 3 games left, if I'm not mistaken, like four games left. This is the final week of the regular season. We have 2 more games left with the New York Rangers. Honestly, guys, I will say this. I mean, this season was absolutely draining, but I'm glad, like, the audience, you guys got to be a part of this, and we got to sit here and talk about it. And, this roller coaster ride definitely sucked, but next year, I feel like it's going to be a lot more better. And hopefully, I just won't be ranting as much about this team next year because I kind of want to talk good about this team. And thankfully, they have been doing that so far for these remainder of the games. But like I said, next season, I just want to see them like be watchable. I just want to see them be watchable because like I can't even escape them because the Yankees are there on a little slump. Even the Mets, man, like New York sports is just in a weird situation right now. It truly is. But at least the Knicks are doing good. The New York Knicks is something you can look forward to because they're actually going to give you hope. As far as the Yankees and the Mets, I don't even know. There's no telling what either of those two New York teams are going to give you because it seems like to me the Mets and the Yankees, they both have very similar patterns going on. But as far as the Rangers, I mean, we're going to see what happens in the offseason. That's where I'm at. And Chris Drury better be glad that he still has his job because you guys see how everyone else around the NHL have been firing GMs and coaches and people all around the front offices. And Chris Drury happens to be the only one that's like somehow with a job. So he better be glad that the younger guys that he's got into the roster and the other Hartford players that actually developed and got called up saved his job. Literally, they like don't that's what saved Chris Drury from his fucking job. The younger guys. Other than that, there was nothing else that would have saved Chris Drury. Had those younger guys not been like performing like they did this season, yeah, no question. Chris Dolan would have been an absolute idiot not to fire Chris Drury had we not gotten what we got out of the rest of the season. 100%. But what I'm hoping for is the Rangers at least start somehow, some way, change the fucking traditions. We're sick of this old shit. Get rid of the old tradition. Get with the damn times for once. And maybe, just maybe, you can have a brighter future with this team. Now, just because the season's going to be over for the Rangers, guys, you guys know the content won't be. I will be doing like the whole playoff coverage since the Rangers season's going to be over. So you guys look forward to that as well. And obviously, I'm going to have the highlights from the playoffs uploaded and things like that. But as always, y'all, I really appreciate y'all for watching. I wish I could upload the highlights, but unfortunately, this team gave you nothing. So the only thing I could upload is like the Jamie Benn and JT Miller fight. That's all I can give you guys. But other than that, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in and watching in this early afternoon. I will keep you guys up to date for the final 2 games, which happens to be tomorrow. They play at sunrise against the Panthers, and then they're going to be back in Tampa playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which we're going to see if I'm going to even still be able to go. I mean, there's no telling if I'm going to be able to make that game particularly because I'm sure all the tickets are already going to be sold out and everything. So we'll see what happens. But as always, y'all, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in, hitting that subscribe, and watching my stuff, the highlights, the live. It don't matter what it is, you guys chose to be a part of this channel. So as always, you guys know your support's greatly appreciated. Every time of the day, no matter how many times I upload this stuff, I'm always going to remind you guys that. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. And I'll see you guys after tomorrow's road game against the Panthers on Monday. And enjoy the rest of your week.